Well, thank you for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you so much for the invite, Jeff. Much appreciated.
Oh, we always love to hear from different professions when it comes to mental wellness and physical well-being. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do at New Hope?
Absolutely. I'd be delighted to tell you a little bit what we do here. I'm definitely a bit of a veteran already at this stage of my life in alternative medicine. Because when I say that, because I've been in this field for just over 35 years. So I have seen it come full circle, which has been very kind of cool, from the day and the age of craziness to seeing it going, wow, people are understanding that they need to be taking more responsibility for self and self of wellness on every level, and that it's just not handed to them. And sometimes it takes them down a tricky trail that they wish they didn't go down. So what we get to offer here at New Hope is actually doing nutrition, definitely guiding in proper foods for those individuals for their needs. I don't necessarily follow the book because the book doesn't always work for everybody, and I certainly respect and understand that. What works for one person doesn't mean it works for the next. So I definitely cater to them as an individual, definitely. I look at doing live blood analysis, so it definitely tells me what is going on within inside their body and knowing what we actually need to support to allow them to become more, or if there's something that we actually need to do some detoxing. And when I say detoxing, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people see detox as being just sick and awful, and I don't. I choose not to do that to people for the simple fact that we still need to function, because usually by the time they come here, they already feel awful to start with. So I don't want them to kind of go past that point where there's no return in that field, that's for sure. Definitely looking, I definitely do a lot of counseling here at New Hope with individuals of all ages. It's not one specific age and it's not one gender. It's an everyday process. Absolutely. And, you know, my goal is to see someone, a shimmer of light of every day, of hope is a major bonus. Definitely. Yeah. So we pretty much, I do nutrition here, and I do live blood analysis, doing some counseling here, and we'll be adding a new feature with Nathan joining us at the end of the month here, doing massage therapy and cardiovascular testing. So very excited that we get to bring on somebody new and being able to open more avenues for people as a whole for wellness.
Well, and that's what we stand for here too, especially on like the mental health, addiction, and trauma side of things, right? That's kind of what I stand on the forefront of. And some people deem me as a stigma warrior, I guess. I don't see myself that way, but it, I mean, it's wellness is something that people need to kind of get on board with and understand. There's more holistic means to do things opposed to, you know, taking the first thing that's handed to you, sort of deal.
Yeah, like I said to you earlier, just because it works for one person doesn't mean it works for the other. And I think we all really, really need to stay mindful of that. And it's not that I'm an anti-doctor at all. I think the doctors have their place, and I think it's great. But once again, I really, truly believe we all know within us, we have this intuitive knowing of what really does work for us. And it's just being honest, right? Because being honest with self, I mean, everybody comes to a point in their life realizing we all come from brokenness. There's nobody that doesn't. I don't care what walk of life we're all in. Everybody has some brokenness, and it's amazing how we cover ourselves up as an onion, layers after layers after layers. And it's interesting as we start delayering that onion. Some people don't want us to go there because it's just so painful, and I respect that. But sometimes we got to get through that pain. We got to actually go through it. We don't jump over it. We can't skip it. We actually have to get through it to heal.
I say the same thing to my kids every day. It doesn't matter the obstacle. You don't go around it. You don't go over it. Go through it.
Correct. Amen. Amen. Absolutely. No, I totally support that 100%. Yeah. And so, yeah, I also encourage, I mean, definitely people here, I mean, my clientele always hear from me talking about water, that we got to get enough water in the body. And I think it's very fascinating and learning about water of its own, because water just creates such new joy within the body because it actually gets to flush the old toxins out of the body. So as the body starts to get eliminated, how can it not create new joy, right? Anything, I mean, the more toxins you put in the body, the tougher we feel.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm, mhm.
So with New Hope and that, do you guys offer services for rather it's veterans or anything mental health related other than counseling?
Mental health, I actually work with a couple, a couple of the people that I work with that with mental health. If I, when we're chatting and it's bigger than what I can address, I definitely advise them to see somebody else. Absolutely, more specialized in different fields. And one is Tim Crawford out of Brandon, and he's amazing. He's just an amazing counselor and knows his stuff extremely well. So I highly recommend Tim from Brandon, absolutely, in our local area.
Okay.
But yeah, it's getting to know those people individually, right? And like I said earlier, you can't treat them all the same at all. And it's also understanding what are some of their needs, right? Because we all have different needs. So sometimes, I mean, it's understanding that some people need to learn how to manage some of their mental health through a form of new play, that it's okay to play and playing healthy and actually finding out what does that look like, right? Versus saying, I'm going to use, for example, gaming, all right? Gaming has its place, but it's not healthy for everybody because it allows some of them to stay within their head. And if they can stay in their mind, they just become their own worst enemy, even more so for some people. And that's not everybody. I'm not painting that brush right across, that's for sure. But it's actually exploring and actually building and doing something differently, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. 'Cause I know there's I've talked with quite a few people that they deem music is one of the best forms, but little do they realize is when you're writing lyrics or you're playing a guitar or something, you're actually expressing the pain and the emotion that is in your head that's just being correlated through your hands and the instrument, right?
Absolutely. Like that's a huge win. Huge win. I mean, probably my biggest ones that I will encourage anybody that's going through emotional, mental traumas of life and then just trying to figure some things out is music. Music. I'll tell them, like, find some form of music. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you actually have to play an instrument, just listening. Find what music works for you that resonates with you. Find your tones and actually really listen to it. It's very interesting when you get people to start understanding the sound of music, the different elevations of the tone.
Yeah.
You will notice that you do some music that what's going to make you sad, what makes you happy, gives you actually goosebumps, right? Get in touch with you and actually feeling again versus just being shut down.
No, yeah, it's insane. Like I know with us here, we see it all the time, and we've got a few artists actually that they struggle with stuff daily. And just once I put them in the studio, put a guitar in their hands or a mic in front of them, it's just beautiful to see truly who they are behind that mask that they're putting on to hide their issues, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, because they get to do actually self-expression, right? And
Well,
that's just,
I found it too. It kind of, in a sense, you let your guard down because you're doing something that's letting the true you shine through, and you're not subconsciously controlling the trauma or the addiction or anything that has come to kind of pass, right?
for sure, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I guess it's very interesting because I mean, I deal with all walks of life here as well, and all forms of the addictions, right? And it's always interesting how some people don't think some of the foods they're eating or some of the, I'm going to use as an example, caffeine, right? As an addiction. And they're like, that's not an addiction. Really? Let's talk about this for a second, right? What drives you to that? And what are you missing in your life that you're being drawn to that versus filling that with something that's better for you, that it doesn't heighten your anxiety, heightens your nervous system, heightens you from not sleeping. And so I just find it interesting getting people to understand as a whole that it's addiction isn't just alcohol, not just drugs, not just, you know, pornography, that there's some basics that it starts with and they just think it's okay. And it's like, no, I want you to do a check and balance here again.
Yeah, there's kind of that fine line between addiction and normal everyday use.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But no, music is so healing. There's just, I mean, yeah, it's a big win for me. And I see how big of a win it is for pretty much the majority of everybody.
Well, yeah, and we see it every day. Like myself personally, with the struggles I faced, it was basically writing and playing a guitar that got me through most of my traumas and stuff, right? So I mean, it kind of put me on my career path, I guess, if you put it that way, right? But,
Way cool. Yeah. So now with this pandemic right now, then Jeff, that's going on. Are you being able to do some Zooms then with teaching at all?
not really. Like we don't offer lessons. We want to, like, it is something in the cards.
Okay, cool.
Because we've had a lot of people kind of approach us with stuff like that. Right now I've kind of, with the pandemic, it's kind of closed the music side of it. So I've been really focused on my initiative.
Right.
So we've been pushing really hard with that. We've done a few workshops. We public spoke at schools. We've kind of pushed that message that there's always ways to succeed beyond whatever may ail you, right? Rather it's mental health, trauma, addictions. We've got our normal live streams. We've got our TV show like right now. And just various things like that. And we're just constantly pushing to show people there is other ways to things, because when a lot of us went through that, like, and us, I mean, as like the collective that runs the initiative, we found that experience trumped education. In most senses, like when you were talking to someone who's gone through it, they found that dealing with someone who may understand the darkness in the situation opposed to what the textbook tells you is the darkness seemed to resonate with them a lot more. So we've actually gotten pretty successful in pushing our awareness campaigns and stuff around.
And I just think that's awesome because, you know, there's so much truth about the old moccasins, right? Until you walk somebody's moccasins, you don't understand. And you can read all the books you want to the end of the day, but until somebody's walked it, and when they say it, you know, I understand, I get it. They do get it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sharing those stories together and going, okay, so I can support you this way because I understand what you're going through. And let's continue building and going up the mountain on the journey together because of that understanding.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And that's the way we're trying to push a lot of people to have that mindset where we succeed together. If we're going to constantly stigmatize everything, then at that point, how are we going to grow? We can't grow as a society or anything if we're constantly targeting people because of a weakness we can help. Right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's choosing the life you want and living it, staying close to the people that you meet. And I think, yeah, those are just big wins. And it's just finding those people, right? And they're everywhere. It's not that they're not.
Oh, absolutely. I noticed since, even in our local areas, since we've kind of started coming forward and like, I put out my story and then I ended up with a following behind my story, and then a bunch of different business associates and just people that I've known since I was a child that never knew they struggled with anything. They started coming forward. They started talking to me. People wanted to hear what I had to say. People, you know, and then it kind of became this, well, no, we're going to make a go of it because it's something close to my heart and the heart of many people. No, if I'm going to stand for anything, this is what I'm going to stand for.
Yeah.
So then we needed broader range to help people. So then it was, okay, well, TV shows, social media live streams, that's what the teenagers are doing these days. So let's get on that, right? And continue through, and then talking with well, people and professionals and stuff such as like you or Westman Families of Addicts and different things like that, and showcasing there is places out there that are there for people that need it, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, I guess one of my common comments is to everybody, and it has been for all of my career time, is that we need to be mindful that at the end of the day, we all bleed red and we all need one another,
Yeah.
no matter what, no matter what. And it's interesting. I'm thankful that I've been able to connect with a lot of my young people here through the clinic that are in need with all this remote learning. This has been a huge, huge struggle for them, let alone their parents or grandparents or whomever, their guardian that is trying their very best. But my heart goes to some of these rural children, these children that live in the rural areas that can't go anywhere because of their parents may be at work, but they're old enough to be at home to be doing the remote learning, but they're so lonesome, so lonesome, you know? And I think that's really, really hard. And so I appreciate that they know that they can throw a quick little email to me or a little chat quickly just to check in, to say, hey, how's the day going? And, you know, I just try to be a difference for them. I said, I don't have all the answers, but sometimes we just need someone to chit chat with. And that's important.
Well, that's just it. Like I even noticed with my son and stuff too, constantly throughout the pandemic. Can we have company? Can we go somewhere? Can we do something? Because he's sick of staring at a computer screen, right? Like it.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, let's face it, we all need human contact.
Well,
Absolutely.
exactly. And it's a little different than like me personally, I'm an in-person type of guy. So interviews, stuff like that, I prefer to be face to face with the person, right?
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, opposed to staring at a web camera. So but like, have you guys really been affected by the pandemic in what you guys do?
For sure. At the beginning, we certainly were, and then we actually, unfortunately, had to be closed down for a couple of weeks. But I'm thankful that's all it was. And then we had to literally just really stretch appointments out far from one another. And so, yeah, that definitely has been a big impact to the clinic. Probably the bigger impact, I mean, I love what I do and I do what I love. However, it's been really tough because, I mean, I've worked a lot of extra hours just being somebody that they can be in contact with because of the lonesomeness that's out there, and the sadness for people has been just beyond measures of all ages. And it's not just students. I mean, we look at any single older person outside of just being a senior, feeling like they can't go anywhere or they don't have family in the area at all. I become their family, and I'm thankful that they can reach out to me, and I definitely want them to continue reaching out to me. But it just takes a lot more energy.
Well, definitely. Like we've noticed that too, because we're always open as well on our end,
Yeah,
and we get lots of people that reach out to us.
Yeah. I kind of giggle, you know, everybody that thinks that you're self-employed, it's the dream job, right? And that, you know, you just work from whenever you want to work, and you work from 9 to 4 if you wish, and da da da. I'm going, you know, I'd like you to hang out with me for a while. I think you'd be amazed, as many of us that are self-employed, that's not how it works. When you love on people and you want to be all you can be for people, yeah, I function many, many more extra hours and after hours, and because I want people to know that they matter. They truly matter.
Well, it's
All my
24/7.
clients are an extension of my family for me. You know, and I, in my heart and my whole being, that's for truth, and I'm not willing to change that, no matter what.
And that's good. That's type of people we need in society, though, right? As ones willing to help others at all costs.
Yep, totally. No judgment. It is what it is, and we move forward.
Right? Well, exactly. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We all, you know.
Yeah, I don't need anybody looking in my back closet. I won't be throwing the first stone. I'll tell you that. Yeah, yeah. As long as we get to continue growing, right? And becoming more as an individual. And once again, as I say to anybody, I don't have all the answers, but if there's things that you're asking or seeking for, trust me, I will start looking and finding out who does have those answers or who could help them fill those needs so that those needs are met, so that they're not having to feel abandoned. Because I think a couple of things that are the worst thing that can happen in life is feeling abandoned or being neglected. And nobody wants them.
No, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And everybody wants to be needed somewhere, right? A lot of us don't need a lot of people, but all of us need someone.
Oh yeah, there's always got to be someone. Yeah.
Yep, totally, totally. Yeah, which is way, way cool, you know? And I mean, yeah, I mean, I just love the connection we have with people at the clinic here. And yeah, I know a lot of people all over, and it's just so wonderful. It's not ever a negative thing, and it's great to make a difference in people's lives.
That's good. It's good. So do you have any advice for anyone that may be going through something, whether it's mental health, physical health?
When it comes to mental health, I probably a few things I actually ask any of my clients to do. I'll ask them to do a little bit of journaling, absolutely. But if they find, and it's very interesting, I'll actually kind of do it a little different. It's a course I took in one of my psychology classes, and it's actually going through the alphabet, starting from A to going to Z, and starting off with the first, at this moment, this is how I'm feeling, and because, and just keep kicking in every letter of the alphabet. And I think, and I always giggle because as you just start going through the alphabet and going down into your story, you would be surprised on the story that you have inside that you're actually going to write out.
So kind of like a rational belief regimen. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and it's really just kind of sometimes with that mental health thing, because there's just so much data and there's so many different lies that are within that are just lies. And it's like, no, bring those out, because as soon as we start bringing that out to the light, it can't keep staying in there.
Yeah.
And then let's look at a couple of great affirmations that apply to you or apply that what are your needs. And let's start putting some of those better things back into those spots, that we're not just leaving a void. Because when we leave a void, it's got to be filled with something.
Well, exactly.
And I want it definitely to be something positive. Yeah, definitely. All right. And again, I'll get them in my comments 99.9% of the time. My clients don't know that. I'll say, put on some instrumental music. What kind of instrumental music do you enjoy? Find what you like and listen to that while you're doing that, because you'd be amazed on how it's resonating with you. And the more you will write, the more you will express, the better you will feel.
Well, and the music kind of keeps you anchored too.
Correct. Absolutely. Always. Always. Yeah, definitely. And then when it comes to the physical stress, the physical issues that can take place with different individuals, not necessarily, for some people, definitely I'll say, you know what, you need to go for a run. You do need to go for a run. All right. Some people, it's actually weightlifting, that they need to get rid of some anger. All right. That they actually want some weight in their hands and doing some weightlifting to start clearing some of that without actually using that anger elsewhere on an unhealthy position. And then there's some people that it's literally, you know what, you need to really be okay with doing some yoga, some deep breathing, and just being in the moment of the moment and actually feel your breath. If you feel your breath, know your breath. Because it's amazing how many of us don't know that, you know, and we don't take the time to be still. And we need to take the time to be still with just self.
Yeah, debrief.
Yeah, completely, you know. And there's no right or wrong. I mean, my seniors, they'll giggle. I mean, I didn't tell many of them that I was doing this for today, but I can just hear how many of them giggle at me, because my seniors, I'll honestly tell them, get a coloring book, and Put the pencil crayons down on the table. There's no right or wrong. Whatever your eye sees first, whatever pencil crayon, pick that up. Whatever picture you've seen first on your coloring book, start coloring. You know, just because you see water and you think it needs to be blue, you know what? Today mine's purple.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be purple. You know, and let's get out of judgment so quickly. Is there a right, wrong all the time? This is just where I'm at this moment. And just literally feeling that. Where's that purple resonating with inside you, in your mind, in your heart, in your chest, in your leg? Where's that sitting? And recognizing it. And is it heavy? Is it light? You know, give it a description. That doesn't mean we have to own it. Give it a description so we can let it go.
Like an emotional therapy kind of expression.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. Completely. You know. And then I have some that I really encourage them. If coloring is not their thing, or painting, I'll tell them to make some homemade Play-Doh. And they giggle. The little child that comes out of any adult will giggle. And I'm going, yeah, I know, Play-Doh. I said Play-Doh for an adult. And start making some figurines, or just make some snakes for a bit, just to de-stress, to debrief. And you would be amazed in the difference that it does for you as an individual. You know?
And I've always thought, like, right from a very young age, we get programmed essentially
Totally.
that, you know, like once you enjoy the youth years and then once you're an adult, you have kids, you have a family. Well, now you can't be a kid anymore. And see, like, I don't fully believe in that, right?
Correct. Nor do I. No.
So
in every adult, there's a child.
Well, exactly. So why not
Every
explore
adult.
it, right?
Yep.
And how many people, most successful people in business, are those that actually bring out that childhood dream and do it for a living?
Yes, totally. And we all have to tap in. So for example, I mean, I always say there's a big Lisa and there's the little girl Lisa inside. And that little girl Lisa would just love to giggle and play and laugh. And I have to get in touch with that little Lisa and going, you know what? We're just going to go to the bush and go for a wander of nature and just check things out, you know, and it's okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I find even when you raise, well, on my end of things, like a lot of my recovery was, you know, music and martial arts, Tai Chi, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I've taught it to my kids.
Which is awesome.
With each age, teach it to them, right? And it's one of those things, if they use it later on, they use it later on, whatever. And just continue down that line of showing them it's okay. If you love to do something, do it. It's never about the money. It's never about what you've been told to do. Do you?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Work is good, right? I mean, all within moderation. Being outdoors, just listening to the birds and watching birds is very therapeutic for many people. And it's just amazing how many people just don't get out to nature, right? And just I'll tell people, get your shoes and socks off and feel, what does grass actually feel like? What does it actually feel like? You know, get your feet and make some mud puddles, you know, and they're like, you're kidding me. I'm going, no, I'm not kidding you. Get grounded. Get into the ground and get grounded, you know? And we just all need that. And I think it's very sad that adults have gotten lost in that adulthood of what they believe, what it should look like to them, and it's not. You know, it's amazing how many people are living roles in their life, and it's a lie, and it just saddens me. And those lies catch up to you, and when you get to realize those lies, when you start pulling that apart, they're so sad and they're so unhappy, and it's because they're tired of living the lie. And I'm going, you know, how much longer are you going to live this, or when do you actually live your truth?
Well, and I've talked to a few people that are, you know, around mid 40s or so that actually they strongly believe that a lot of the uprising when it comes to depression and stuff like that actually is, to them, is based off the fact that they can't get out of that original programming. And that's why depression is on the rise, is because now all these people are, well, I did what I was supposed to, pandemic hits, well, now you can't be that conventional adult you were programmed to be. Now what do you do?
for sure.
because you have no outlets anymore because you let go of that inner child, right? So it
That's-
kind of that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And it's just interesting, right? Just getting to watching any adult. And when, you know, I'm going to rephrase that because it's not even adults. When I even work with my young teenagers, right? And I'm saying, but there's still a little child within you that wants to play. What does that look like? You know, if you actually took a moment and listened to that little child, that little voice that's inside of you, what is it trying to say to you? What does it want? What does it need? And they're like, wow, that's kind of crazy, but that's kind of cool. Yeah, it is kind of crazy cool, but have fun with it because that's who you are inside of you know, and you just want to express you.
Well, yeah, you don't want to suck the life out of it.
No, you don't.
Essentially,
You
right?
want to nurture it. And I think it's great that we're having the opportunity to teach and express that to one another more now than we ever have because we're actually taking the opportunity to talk about it,
Yeah.
you know? And I just think there needs to be more and more of that. Absolutely. You know? It's okay to have playtime
Yeah.
and music time and is there ever a wrong time? Not ever. Not ever.
Nope.
You know?
I agree.
And I really encourage, I mean, we always, when people say, well, I have no time, I have no time, I said, no, you don't make time. That's just an excuse. We all have 24 hours in a day. We get to choose what we're going to do with it. And it's very important that we take at least 30 minutes every day to do something for me, just for me, because me needs that nurturing to carry on for the rest, to continue giving out. Because if you're going to keep giving, you've got to stop and know that you've got to put something back within you.
Well, absolutely. It's kind of like we were always told with Tai Chi is it's an expression of energy and centering yourself. How can you center something if the energy is placed elsewhere?
Correct. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's kind of what we do here, or I do at New Hope Health Center here. And yeah, I look forward to being able to be a blessing onto many new people and the people I do see on a regular basis and within my community. Absolutely.
Awesome. And do you, before we end the recording here, do you have a contact number or anything you could leave on the episode here in case someone needs it?
Thanks for asking that, Jeff. I sure do. Our phone number here is 204-476-2656, or you can reach us at emailing reception@newhopehealth.ca.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Lisa, for your time. And hopefully we get more people reaching out to you guys and continue loving what you do.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jeff. And I so appreciate that you guys are in our community and blessing on so many here. I just can't thank you enough. And all the best to you and your team there.